ICG is an in-home usage test. In-home usage test. In-home usage test.
Because I didn't know that because I always say HET, I never say IHT.
The next one is...
You never say IHT, you say always HT.
FMCG. Yes, good. The next one is ANOVA, which
Analysis of variance.
Analysis of variance. NPS is net promoter score. And NLP is neuro-linguistic programming.
Thank you, Arthur. What do you think of it so far?
Oh, my voice is going.
Tonight, how do you do?
There's no European questions. I have a European through and through next to me, and what happened? Nothing. Not one French question.
So, and any other comments about this evening?
Fixed. It was all fixed. All fixed. Arthur fixed it.
Are you enjoying yourself? You're smiling quite broadly.
Great.
Very good. Thank you, Frank. Any comments about the clash of culture between Burma and Scotland?
So much of a gulf, there's no connection at all.
No.
I'm just astonished at the look of those haggis.
Astonished at what?
I'm looking at those haggis. We don't have anything like that in Burma.
In Burma? Perhaps you should take some out when you're next there.
The thing is, in Burma, in Asian cooking, you do everything to disguise the animal, and over here, you do everything to make the animal look like the animal.
Hi, Jimmy. Thank you, Jimmy. A few comments tonight. How do you think our rookie haggis introducer did tonight?
Well, it's a very good, authentic accent.
Very good.
Of course, I was part of the winning team, so beautifully led by Peter.
Excellent.
Our mystery guest that arrived, and he knew all the answers.
Yes. Well, congratulations. Good work.
And we beat the fixing team here because they were all the sponsors. They were together.
Yes,
That's
indeed.
Like match fixing and cheating.
What
We didn't like to raise that.
what was the winning ingredient? What do you think really clenched it for you?
Cheating.
Cheating.
Yeah, I went to the loo.
Oh, you
and I
cheated.
Googled a couple of things. So nobody was looking.
Peculiarity of the Burns evening so far?
We were robbed of victory.
Yeah, we're wrong. So this must be what
Sorry.
We are full-time that we sponsored the Burns Night, and really enjoy it. It's really good. Although I'm not keeping haggis.
Oh, you're going veggie. Mike, do you feel you were robbed? I mean, it's a very close quiz there.
Very close quiz.
Robin Sugar has just told me he Googled an answer when he was in the gents.
No, scurrilous.
What do you think?
Scurrilous. Well, that's the point.
Do you want to report this to the MRS Standards Committee?
Absolutely, to the Standards Committee. Ethical behaviour is appalling.
We'll have to take that up. 2 points off. One word. You were 57, weren't you?
Yeah, but it's got to be a penalty point as well for cheating.
We'll have to take that. We'll put it to the ICG committee tomorrow. Thank you. Not mine. They have been sent in, so I'm not going to claim any sort of credit for this. Oh, by the way, in about half an hour's time, when we've exhausted the talent in this room, you, the audience, will vote the best contributor. Okay, the best contributor will also win a prize. By the way, the booby prize quiz people, that porridge was to make you stronger and more mentally alert. You appreciate it. Good. So,
No, I do appreciate it.
on behalf of Kevin McLean, who very sadly has to work tonight, apparently, group discussions. Kevin is also Robin's other half, who's addressed many a haggis in his time. He sent me this list of Scottish jokes, and he said they're to be read in a thick Billy Connolly accent. So it helps if you're Scottish. And here goes. I've got 6 to read out. Joke 1. Listen up. What did the Glaswegian pair of co-joined twins call their autobiography? Or a Willie. Nobody got that. Okay. Okay, moving on. If there are 10 cows in a field, which one is closest to Saudi Arabia? Kuwait.
That's good. That's good.
Joke 3 gets worse. After a couple announce their engagement, the groom-to-be tells his pal he will, obviously, be wearing a kilt to his wedding. The mate says, "Ian, what's the tartan?" Answer, "Oh, she'll be wearing a wet dress." Joke 4. Joke 4 is my favourite, I thought. How can you tell the difference between Bing Crosby and Walt Disney? Bing sings, but Walt Disney. Next joke. A short-sighted Scotsman goes to a bakery, points to the counter and asks, "Is that a donut or a meringue?" The baker replies, "No, you're right, it's a donut." Final joke. Why did the chocolate bar melt? Because it was bounty. Thank you very much. Hit the red button. Hit the red button.
It reminded me actually of a story that an old friend of mine in Glasgow told me that actually might have originated from Billy Connolly. And some of you might have heard this before, and I can't do it very well. So we're going to try it. It's politically very incorrect, okay? But I did test it out on the two lovely ladies opposite me, and they kind of thought it was okay.
You guys?
So I now, does anybody know who Roy Langmaid is? Yeah. Right, now, if Roy was here, he would say, "I want you to shut your eyes and visualise." So we're going to do this actually for real. I want you to shut your eyes and visualise, okay? So I can see you all, so I'm not shutting my eyes because I've got to read the joke. But I want you all to shut your eyes, okay? Come on, everyone? Yeah. Okay, now I want you to imagine you're in Glasgow, it's like the 1950s, you're in the Gorbals, okay? That's not a nice place. And it's dark and you can feel the rain and the dank, dreich atmosphere. You work in the shipbuilding industry. There's not a lot of money and it's all really very sad. Okay, so have you got the picture? Yeah, has everybody got their eyes shut? This I can see you. Right, so you're visualising this, okay? So, Jimmy comes round and knocks on the door. You see his great chum Billy. He says, "Hi Billy, how you doing?" He says, "I'm not so good, it's been a bit dark, it's been a bad winter." He says, "How's the wife?" "Oh, she's not so good. She died last week." And Jimmy's like, "Billy, what do you mean she died last week?" He said, "She died last week." He said, "Well, where was the funeral?" And I said, "I couldn't afford one." He said, "Well, I'd like to pay my last respects." So he says to Jimmy, he says, "Shh, can't laugh at my joke." He says, "So where is Fiona?" "Well, she's out the back." So Billy opens the back door and Jimmy goes out there. If you've got your eyes visualised, you're going out to this wee green in the back of the Glasgow Gorbals. And wee Jimmy walks out there and it's raining a bit and he suddenly sees these two amazing buttocks sticking out the grass. And Jimmy says to Billy, "What's wrong? Why haven't you buried Fiona properly?" And he says, "Well, I had to find somewhere to park the bike." And that was the joke that made Billy Connolly famous on the Michael Parkinson show about 25 years ago. And his agent said to him before he went on stage on the Parkinson show, "Billy, for Christ's sake, don't tell the bicycle joke." And he said halfway through the show, he just suddenly thought, "What the hell, I'll go for it."
It's from Ivor Cutler. Anyone know Ivor Cutler?
Yes.
Okay.
His brother.
Pardon?
Adge Cutler's brother.
You say so. So Ivor Cutler, of course, is really the other Scottish poet. He is the man who we should be celebrating tonight. And he had a tough childhood in Edinburgh, in a better part, not Glasgow, I'm sorry to say. And he, you know, food wasn't so good. So you may know this particular monologue. I'll be as quick as I can with it. It's called Gruts for Tea. "Hello, Billy, tea time. Gruts for tea. Billy, come on, son. Gruts for tea. Fresh gruts. don't want gruts, Daddy. What? I went out specially and got them for you. Oh, but Daddy, we had gruts yesterday. Look, son, I walked 7 miles to the highwood to get you gruts. That's 14 miles in all, counting the journey back. And you don't want gruts? I fried them for you. Fried gruts. I tried them in butter. Fried them in butter. Oh, I don't want them, Daddy. Daddy, we've had gruts for tea for 3 years now. I'm fed up with gruts. I don't want any more. Daddy, can't we have something else for tea? Oh, son, gruts, they're lovely. Daddy, I don't want gruts anymore. I hate gruts. I detest them. I have them every day and they're always fried in butter. Can't you think of another way of cooking gruts? There's hundreds of ways of cooking gruts. Boil them or bake them or stew them or braise them. But every day, fried gruts. Billy, come in for tea, fried gruts. I've walked 14 miles, 7 miles to the highwood and back. 3 years of gruts. Look what it's done to me, Daddy. Come here into the bedroom and look at ourselves in the mirror. You and me, now look at that. Oh yes, I see what you mean, son. Let's not waste these gruts. Tomorrow I'll go to the highwood and I'll get something else. Look, Daddy. You've been saying this for 3 years now. Every day we have the same thing. I take you to the mirror and you say we'll have something else for tea. What else is there in the highwoods besides gruts? Well, there's leaves, there's bark, there's grass and leaves. Gruts are really the best, you must admit it. Yes, Daddy, I admit it. Gruts are really the best, but I don't want them. I hate them. I detest them. In fact, I'm going to take this handful of gruts and throw them out. Don't do that! Don't throw them out, for goodness sake, you'll poison the dog.
Joke from my local pub that a guy called Masha always tells, and I go, Masha, tell me the joke about the woman at number 42. So, here it is. So, Paddy comes home from the pub, and his wife Bridget's busily frying something for supper, and she says, hello Paddy. She says, how was the pub? Was there anybody interesting there? Did you meet anybody that you liked more than yourself? And she says, well, not really, Bridget. But she says, I'll tell you something. I did actually learn something very interesting that I think you'd be quite interested to know about. She says, oh no. Well, what was that? And he says, well, do you know that Seamus O'Connor? She says, I do. And she says, well, you'll never guess what. He told me this evening that he has made love to every single woman in this street except one. So she's thinking for a second. She says, that'll be that miserable old bishop number 42.
ICG Chairman, Midge Layden.
A limerick that's new to me. A wonderful bird is the pelican. His bill can hold more than his belly can. He can take in his beak food enough for a week, but I'm damned if I can see how the hell he can.
Very good, very good.
Okay, now
He's coming cold to these.
This is the Sprocket one that I know you're all dying to hear. There was an old man from Sprocket who went up to space in a rocket. The rocket went bang, his gonads went clang, and his bum ended up in his pocket. That's one of mine. And last but not least, there was a young woman called Sally who loved an occasional dally. She sat on the lap of a well-endowed chap and said, "You're right up my alley."
Burns, the famous poet of Scotland, and now you're aware of Ivor Cutler, slightly less famous.
Don't you say that.
No, but very good, very impressive nonetheless. There is another poet from Scotland, of whom you may know, whose name was William McGonagall. Poet and tragedian. William McGonagall was a handloom weaver from Dundee. He wasn't a great poet, but he thought he was. Consequently, what he wrote was unintentionally hilarious. So I'm going to read... No, it's far too long. All of the poems are massively long in this little book. So there's only one which is relatively short, and that's the one I've chosen to read, which is a paean of praise to Robert Burns. So it's a poem about Robert Burns. And I'm going to try and do it in a Scottish accent. going on. So anyway,
Hey, go on, Jibby.
here we go. It's called Robert Burns. Immortal Robert Burns of Ayr, there's but few poets that can with you compare. Some of your poems and songs are very fine. To Mary in Heaven is most sublime. And then again in your Cotter's Saturday Night, your genius there does shine most bright, as pure as the dewdrops of night. Your Tam O'Shanter is very fine, both funny, racy and divine. From John O'Groats to Dumfries, all critics consider it to be a masterpiece. And also, you have said the same, therefore they are not to blame. And in my own opinion, both you and they are right, for your genius there does sparkle bright, which I most solemnly declare to thee, immortal bard of Ayr. Your banks and braes of Bonnie Doon is sweet and melodious in its tune, and the poetry is moral and sublime, and in my opinion nothing can be more fine. Your Scots, wha high wee Wallace bled, is most beautiful to hear sung or read, for your genius there does shine as bright like unto the stars of night. Immortal bard of Ayr, I must conclude my muse, to speak in praise of thee does not refuse, for you are a mighty poet, few could with you compare, and also an honour to Scotland, for your genius it is rare.
Welcome back for joke number 2. Corky.
Imagine a bar in the Wild West, and there's a piano tinkling away in the corner, and all of a sudden the saloon bar doors swing open, and in opens the brown paper kid. The brown paper kid walks up to the bar and he says, "Barman, I'm looking for the brown paper kid. Have you seen him?" And the barman says, "Well, no." He says, "This being a very busy centre of town bar, I don't know." He says, would you care to describe him to me? Any clues?" And so the cowboy goes, "Okay. Yep, he's got a brown paper hat." And the barman goes, "No, has he now? That sounds interesting. Any other distinguishing features that you can think of?" And so the cowboy goes, "Yep, he's got a brown paper shirt and brown paper pants." And the barman goes, "Oh, well, you're getting quite an interesting picture of this individual." He says, "No," he says, "it's very bad for business if I get any of my customers into trouble unnecessarily. I'm sure you understand." He says, "I think I just might know who you're talking about." He says, "But before I tell you, any other distinguishing features?" So the cowboy goes, "Yeah, yep, he's got brown paper boots, a brown paper gun, and brown paper spurs." And so the barman says, "Well, no, I definitely know who you're talking about." But he says, "But before I tell you anything about him," he says, "I mustn't get my customers into trouble unnecessarily. Would you care to tell me, why are you after this individual? What's he done?" And the cowboy goes, "Rustling."
Right. Peter Martin. The floor is yours.
The landlord of a centre of town pub is surprised one day when a duck walks in and perches himself on one of the stalls at the bar and orders a pint. The pint you'll find is bitter, but his landlord's a little bit surprised at this. He said, "Okay, yeah, sure. Anything else you want?" He said, "Yeah, I have a cheese sandwich." He said, "Right." He said, okay. He said, "I haven't seen you in here before, have I?" And he said, "No." He said, "But I'm working in town for a couple of weeks, and I just sort of look for somewhere where I could come and have some lunch." He said, "Oh, right, okay." He said, "Where are you working?" He said, "At the building site up the road." He said, "Right. said, you're quite unusual, aren't you? He said, don't think so. He said, why are you working on a building site? He said, I'm sure, you know, with the right contacts you could be doing something much more interesting. And the duck says, like what? And he said, well actually, the circus is coming to town tomorrow. And I actually happen to know the guy who owns it, and I know the ringmaster. And he said, I could have a word if you like, and maybe introduce you to them, and maybe see if we could get you some interesting work at the circus. And the duck says, circus? He said, yeah. He said, there's a big tent with holes in the middle. I said, yes. Why would they want a plasterer?
Seltzer Sue by Frank Winter.
I started bowling Thursday evening with this gal named Seltzer Sue. Gracious, what a big girl. She could break a man in two. We talked a little and laughed a lot. And she jiggled in her clothes so tight. We fell in love between the beer and the cigarettes, the spares and the strikes. We went strong for 15 years, till the day of the accident. She slid down the gutter with a chocolate bar, and no one's seen her since. Sometimes when the lanes are quiet, and the boys are drilling holes in balls, I think of how much I loved that girl, cellulite and all.
This is very hard.
Aye. Come on, Jimmy, you only got 2 minutes.
Right, okay, there was T Witty Wives, and Air played Hook Managni, and they cost out upon a time out Ura drink a brandy. There's a rhyme there. Up Maggie rose and forth she goes, and she leaves old men flighting, and she farted by Brienne, and she was gone a shitting.
I knew you'd like it.
Is it lost in translation?
So, Google Apps. She farted by Breen, she farted by the stable, and thick and nimble were her steps, as fast as she was able.
Well,
It's got a nice flow to it. I'm just thinking I could recite this. You know, I mean, the last bit.
where are the sound effects?
I feel the last bit. I want the words I'm going to use to propose to my third wife. They have a ring to them that I feel would just be right for this charming girl who I've yet to meet. Till it could be number 4 actually, because this next bit isn't going to go well at all. Till at yon died back the hurly brack, and raxing for some dockins, the beans and peas come down her thighs, and she cacked in her stockings. So I think the third wife might be a slightly difficult proposition.
Robbie Burns.
Robbie Burns, thank you. Andy, you're back for your second round.
In Belgium, who was given the task of going to visit a Trappist monastery where they hardly speak at all. So if anybody knows this joke, tell me now. They hardly speak at all. So he went along and he went to dinner, and there he was sitting with the senior monk, the Father Superior, whatever they called, at dinner. And as dinner drew to a close, the Father Superior said, "Oh, I'm going to stand up now and say a few words," and they will just be a few words, but I like to tell a few jokes. But as we're a Trappist monastery, clearly I can't go to town because I can't speak. So anyway, the senior monk stood up and faced the assembled multitude of Trappist monks, and he said to them, 13. And the monks split their sides, and they were rolling in the aisles, laughing. Oh, 13! Fantastic. And then he stood up again and he said, 23. The same thing happened. It was remarkable that monks were laughing, killing themselves, joking, all sort of thing. 42. Exactly the same thing happened. And finally, the chap sat down and the journalist said, "That was remarkable." He said, "What was that all about?" And the senior monk said, "Well, to be quite honest, it's a Trappist order, so I can't say very much. So what we've done, we've learned a few jokes, and
I refer to them by number, and it just reminds them, and they laugh and they love it. And I said, well, that's remarkable. He says, do you mind very much if I stand up and have a go? And so the Father Superior said, of course, go on. So the jury stood up and he said, 73! And you have never seen such a response. They were tears running down their faces, lying on the back, legs kicking up and down. It was so funny. He sat down and he said, that was really great, wasn't it? He said, yeah, they hadn't heard that one before.
I could tell you another joke. But maybe I should save it till next year.
Come on, you know. What was the last joke you heard at the pub?
You know they want it.
But this is a bit rude. This is a bit. No, I'm not going to regret it tomorrow. Very politically incorrect. Yeah, baby.
They're like that in Bettra.
Right, okay. I did hear this joke in the 1970s originally. So there are three kind of ladies down by the river and they're doing the washing. I was scrubbing away in the river and everything, and one of them says, Esme? And Esme says, what? And Mary says, well, Esme and me and Caesar Sal, we have heard that you call your man some kind of a name. And we would like to know what that name is. And Esme says, well, you girls, you can just go on wondering, because as sure as hell, ain't gonna tell the likes of you know how. So they go. Nothing to do with Scotland. And so. Nothing to do with Scotland. So Susie says, well, Esme, matter of fact, you ain't the only gal around here that calls your man some kind of a name. You know what I mean? So she says, I call my man Ramrod. And they go, Ramrod? Why'd you call your man Ramrod? And so she says, well, if you gals can't imagine, I ain't gonna bother explaining. So they go, So then they say, Susie Sal, have you got a name for your man? Susie Sal says, well, you know, I might do. And she says, as a matter of fact, I have. And the name I call my man, it's the Bull. And they go, the Bull? Why'd you call your man the Bull? And she says, well, if you girls can't imagine, I ain't gonna bother explaining. So they go, So, they say, Esme, you have got to tell us the name you call your man. And Esme says, well, I'm sorry, gals, I'm not going to tell you the name I call my man because I'm a bit shy, and also because the name I call my man is a different kind of a name altogether than the name you call your men. And I feel kind of shy. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take my washing and I'm going home. So she goes home. And they say, come back this minute. So she goes, well, the trouble is, she says, I don't want to be mean, but I just think that you girls, you're just going to laugh at me. And they go, no, we're not going to laugh at you. And she says, well, do you girls promise? And they go, we promise. So she says, well, oh, I just can't do it. Okay, the name I call my man, it's Beaujolais. And they say, what? Beaujolais? Honey, what kind of a name for a man is that? Beaujolais. What is that anyhow? Isn't that some kind of a fancy French liquor? And she goes, yes, that's my Beaujolais.